I want to start off by saying Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yaharashai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yaharashai. Call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yaharashai. Call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yaharashai, by Hashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that told me this doctrine in truth and sincerity. Shalom to elect. The Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, which means He is or He exists. By Hashem, in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, we know His name to be Yaharashai, which means He is the deliverer. He is the Savior for the Hebrew Israelites from the pedigree of your father. By Hashem, in the name of the Rokak Wadash, which means the Holy Spirit, that's able to give us the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of who we are, which are the true Hebrew Israelites. If you're so-called Negro, so-called Latino, so-called Native American, or other speckled bird looking like the other nations, and your spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh Shem Shai, you could be one of the elect. Shalom. We would discontinue from our heritage because we went off following after false gods and false idols, not following the law, statute, commandments that was given to us by our forefathers. And because of those offenses, we were sent into captivity. But through our Lord, Yahweh Shai, HaMashiach, being that perfect sacrifice in the flesh to the Heavenly Father, He's been given all power to be able to sit on the right-hand side of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, to be able to open the seals of this book, to be able to give the understanding to the disciples, the apostles, the prophets, and the Ben down, to be able to wake up the tabernacle of David before the said destruction. And with that knowledge, wisdom, understanding, we're able to know who our oppressor is, which is Esau, Edom. Esau means wasted away he is, and they are the biblical Edomites that it speaks about in the scriptures, which is the so-called white man, which would be the wicked of today. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Warburgs, the Schiffs, the ones that would have the fatness of the earth, control the monetary system, and would be able to deceive the nations through their enchantments that they push, and they would rule with a great sword. Okay, and with that great sword comes many different teeth. You have their military force, but you also have where they're able to have, their police forces, their task force, their CIA. Okay, and they're also able to, own the court systems where they're able to not be in trouble as others, and they're able to push forth unrighteous decrees on the people. But the Lord has shined a great light on the servants, the prophets, that would have the understanding, that would have the hedge of protection through what these scriptures. They would be comforted by these scriptures, and they would follow the way of Yahweh Shai, because He is the way, the truth, the light. And they would be speaking this word in truth and sincerity. And through them speaking this word, this place is getting hewn. Okay, Babylon the Great, which is America today. Babylon means confusion, and America means bitter. And Esau, Edom's cash cow is Babylon the Great, and it is getting devoured. It's getting destroyed by this word that's going out throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay, and what's happening is their economy is being destroyed from the inside out. Okay, Esau Edom has a plan to bring in his Novus Ordo Seclorum, his New World Order, through a tactic, the Hegelian dialectic, which is pressure from below, pressure from above. But what is happening is Yahweh Shai has him in a trick bag, as far as thinking that he could be able to have everyone Karagman up, because and going into the Karagman goes into a device that they want to put inside your hand or your forehead, okay, to be able to control your buying and selling, what you do, where you go, what you say, okay. And the Lord made a decree in the scriptures to not take that. If you did, you would have no rest day nor night, and you will be destroyed, okay. And you will have no seeking far as repentance on this side, okay. You will have to come through the bowels of the hopeful elect in the kingdom, okay. And so what's happening is the power is being shifted to one that is righteous, one that is profitable. So this is Isaiah 14 and 5. Does the Lord Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers? Okay, so the Lord is crushing the power of Esau Edom by taking away that sword, which is their military force, their hammer of the earth, okay, and making these other heathen nations strong. And now what they are looking at Babylon the Great as food, okay. They think that they're next, but the Lord also has these other heathen nations deceived, okay. Isaiah 14 and 6, He smote the people in the wrath with continual stroke. He had ruled the nations in anger and persecuted, and none hindereth. So these devils never stopped, putting sanctions on people, showing that they would come with great force as far as with their military, okay, bringing forth pushing forth, man on man, woman on woman, transformers, pushing forth the fornication throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay, and they're always constantly in other people's business, enlarging their place as hell. As far as again, their military, okay, taking peace from the earth, Revelation 6:4. And now it's their turn to start to feel Yahweh Shema Shai's wrath, far as destroying of kingdoms that are not righteous. Okay, it says, "See what's coming." CNN, Fox News, and other media prepare Americans for the end of the dollar and death of a superpower. Okay, so this is War News 24/7. Okay, and this is going into a couple different people that are speaking on the crashing of the dollar, which the petrodollar is very important because that's how these different heathen nations trade. Okay, that's what made Esau Edom very powerful far as in his trade, because these different heathen nations, whenever they wanted to trade, they had to trade in that petrodollar, which made them in the power seat. Okay, but now Saudi Arabia, the nations that were once confederate with the are going away from that petrodollar and bringing in their own. So there's a couple of videos. It's better just I'm just going to push the video. I'll play a little bit of this and a couple other ones. Okay.
Here's my take. The most interesting outcome of the 3-day summit between Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping got limited media attention. Describing their talks, Putin said, "We are in favor of using the Chinese yuan for settlements between Russia and the countries of Asia, Africa, and Latin America." So, the world's second largest economy and its largest energy exporter are together actively trying to dent the dollar's dominance as the anchor of the international financial system. Will they succeed? The dollar is America's last surviving superpower. It gives Washington unrivaled economic and political muscle. It can slap sanctions on countries unilaterally, which frees that country out of large parts of the world economy. And Washington can spend freely, certain that its debt will be bought up by the rest of the world. The war against Ukraine, combined with Washington's increasingly confrontational approach to China, have created a perfect storm in which both Russia and China are accelerating efforts to diversify away from the dollar. Their central banks are keeping less of their reserves in dollars, and most trade between them is being settled in the yuan. They are also making efforts to get other countries to follow suit. The Biden administration has handled the economic war against Russia.
All right. So you hear that. So what's happening is, Russia and China are allied together in what the BRICS nations, which BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And also they have other countries that are with them: Iran, Venezuela, Saudi Arabia. And these nations were once confederate with Esau Edom, as far as the dealings and the trade that they were in. They were in a great trade as far as with them. And China basically produces everything that we get. Okay? Obadiah 1 and 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Okay? And when you go into that word small in the Blue Letter Bible, it goes into unimportant. Okay? Babylon the Great, this whore that's been fornicating with these different nations for their time and power, okay, is now unimportant. Why? Because the petrodollar is no more. And Russia and China are willing to trade on their own currency, which is also going to be digital, taking away the paper dollar, the petrodollar, and bringing in the digital currency, going into the UN, or the yuan, which is the China digital currency. And then you have Russia, I believe, has the ruble. Okay, so they're completely Xing out, basically the middleman, which is America. Okay, and they are greatly despised among the heathen nations. Why? Because they have ruled with a continual sword. They've never let up, okay, as far as in these different heathen nations. And anything that they saw or you had a little bit, they don't leave a crumb, okay? Obadiah 1, right here, it says Obadiah 1 and 5. If thieves came, I'm going to read this in NLT. It says, if thieves came at night and robbed you, what a disaster awaits you. They would not take everything. Those who harvest grapes always leave a few for the people, but the enemies will wipe out you completely. Okay? And that's what Esau Edom does. He wipes you out completely. Okay, he puts you in the ghettos and the barrios. Okay, and then he also taxes you. He also puts your woman above you. Okay, then he also puts what chemtrails in your neighborhood. Then he also puts GMO foods, GMO foods, far as the things that you eat. Okay, and then he also presents you with these harlot houses. Okay, then he puts barium aluminum in the air. Okay, then he takes away the trees, cutting down the trees. Okay, then he builds these concrete jungles. Okay, and that's that continual stroke, and that's just something that he does to Jake, but he does it to these heathen nations too. Okay, and the Lord is going to send forth his anger on these heathen nations. This is Obadiah 1:7. All your allies will turn against you. Okay, so all the people that were aligned with you, like Saudi Arabia, because I believe they go back to like the 1940s or like the 1957, I believe. Okay, far as the dealings with the petrodollar for Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is basically one of the top countries in oil. Okay, why? Because they trade through the petrodollar, and now they're not going to be doing that anymore. Okay, it says all your allies. This is an NLT. All your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive you and destroy you. Your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you won't even know about it. For instance, Revelation 17 and 16 speaks about this. France is meeting up with China. Okay, and France is a longtime ally with America. Okay, because America also did shady dealing. Okay, with France, and the thing called the AUKUS, which was is America, Australia, and I believe Great Britain. Okay, where they were doing trade deals far as for different submarines and things like that, and they cut France out. And when they cut France out, because America believed that they were doing dealings with Russia, okay, and now what? China is aligned with China is aligned with Russia, and then what? Macron, France, which is a longtime ally, is meeting up with China. Okay, and also you have Turkey, that was a longtime NATO member, is also meeting up with Russia. Okay, so all the chips are turning. As far as that pride is being put down, there was a scripture in the let me get this in the Good News translation I want to get. This is Proverbs 16 and 18. The Good News translation. It says, Proverbs 16 and 18. Pride leads to destruction and arrogance to the downfall. And these devils are very proud. Okay, they have boasted against the Most High, saying that they shall have immortality, that they are the Most High because they have a God complex. That's their pride. Okay, and the Lord is the Lord hates pride, and He's gonna show anybody that's proud and boastful, they're gonna be destroyed. Okay, but the meek and the lowly shall be saved. Okay, pride leads to destruction, arrogance to the downfall. So there's going to be a great downfall, and that's starting with their economy, as far as the petrodollar being destroyed. These different nations that are, were once making money, that pitched tent in America, are now going back to their own country. Okay, because now they don't need this whore anymore. The whore is useless. Okay, so Proverbs 6 and 4. It says, everything the Lord Yahawashi has made has its destiny, and the destiny of the wicked is destruction. Okay, so this was bound to happen. And the Lord is sending forth his plagues on these different areas, starting with Babylon the Great. Okay, this is Proverbs 18 and 12 in the Good News translation. Proverbs 18 and, yep, 11. Rich people, however, imagine their wealth protects them like a high, strong walls around a city. No one is respected unless he is humble. Arrogant people are on the way to ruin. Okay, so they're on their way to ruin because they are very arrogant. They are very proud because America believes that they can be able to take down anybody. Okay, but the pride of their heart has deceived thee. Okay, far as in prophecy, Russia's major to take down Babylon the Great, and that they would ally with these different heathen nations, which we're seeing that. Okay, going back to that the video.
Extremely effectively by building a coalition of almost all the world's advanced economies. That makes it hard to escape from the dollar into other highly valued stable currencies like the euro or the pound or the Canadian dollar, because those countries are also warring with Russia. What might have been a sharper turning point for the dollar's role was Donald Trump's decision in May 2018 to pull out of the Iran nuclear deal. The European Union was strenuously opposed to this move, but it watched as the dollar's dominance meant that Iran was immediately excluded from the world economy. Jean-Claude Juncker, then president of the European Commission, proposed enhancing the euro's role internationally to shield the continent from what he called selfish unilateralism. The Commission outlined a path to achieve this. It hasn't happened. There remain too many fundamental doubts about the future of the euro itself. Dollar dominance is firmly entrenched for many good reasons. A globalized economy needs a single currency for ease and efficiency. The dollar is stable. You can buy and sell it any time, and it's governed largely by the market and not the whims of a government. That's why China's efforts to expand the yuan's role internationally have not worked. Ironically, if Xi Jinping wanted to cause the greatest pain to America, he would liberalize his financial sector and make the yuan a true competitor to the dollar. But that would take him in the direction of markets and openness that is the opposite of his current domestic goals. All that said, Washington's weaponizing of the dollar over the last decade has led many important countries to search for ways to make sure that they do not become the next Russia. The numbers are revealing. The share of dollars in global central bank reserves has dropped from roughly 70% 20 years ago to less than 60% today and falling steadily. The Europeans and the Chinese are trying to build international payment systems outside the dollar-dominated SWIFT. Saudi Arabia has flirted with the idea of pricing its oil in yuan. India is settling most of its oil.
And real quick, Iran is what? Persia. Okay, that's in the scriptures. Okay, the Elamites, which are going to be guarded by what? Russia, which is Magog and Gog in the scriptures. It speaks about that in Ezekiel 38. Okay, and so what these different nations are doing is they're trying out different currencies that they can be able to develop. Okay, to be able to have trade amongst themselves. Okay.
Its oil purchases from Russia in non-dollar currencies. Digital currencies might be another alternative, and in fact, China's central bank has created one. All of these alternatives add costs. But the last few years should have taught us that increasingly nations are willing to pay a price when they want political goals to trump economic ones. We keep searching for the single replacement for the dollar, and there will not be one. But could the currency suffer weakness by 1,000 cuts? That seems a more likely scenario. The author and investor Ruchir Sharma points out, right now, for the first time in my memory, we have an international financial crisis in which the dollar has been weakening rather than strengthening. I wonder if this is a sign of things to come. If it is, Americans should worry. I spoke last week about the bad geopolitical habits Washington has developed because of its unrivaled unipolar status. It's even more true economically. America's politicians have gotten very used to spending seemingly without any concern about deficits. Public debt in America has risen almost fivefold, from roughly $6.5 trillion 20 years ago to $31.5 trillion today. The Fed has solved a series of financial crises by massively expanding its balance sheet, almost 12-fold, from around $730 billion 20 years ago to about $8.7 trillion today. All of this only works because of the dollar's unique status. If that were to wane, America will face a reckoning like none before.
And that's right. The great downfall of what? Babylon the Great. And that's biblical. That's the scriptures. In the scriptures, it speaks about that. Okay. So we're going to touch on that. This is going back to Isaiah 14. And we'll skip down. It says Isaiah 14:9. Hell from beneath is moved thee to meet thee at the coming, and stir up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth, and have raised up from the thrones of all the kings of the nations. So all the kings of the nations are gathering up, meeting in secret, okay, coming how they can be able to unite without being part of Babylon the Great, far as not part of that petrodollar. Okay, you know how they can be able to do different trades, as far as the digital currency, the UN, the ruble. Okay, also with the border system, you know, trade the goods that they have. Okay, knocking out again Babylon the Great. Okay, Isaiah 14:10. It says, "All they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?" And that's what the heathen nations are saying, because these heathen nations, as far as China and Russia, the top ones are, okay, they have hypersonic capability, okay, where those hypersonic missiles they can't be tracked. It means that they can't be stopped, okay, and America does not have that, okay, and even America's military is weak right now, okay. China has doubled the size of our military, okay, and also America is what's stretched out throughout they're stretched out in different places. They got to protect Israel, the fake J's out there. They got to protect certain assets. Okay, Great Britain and the UK, okay, which they're not going to be able to. Going into Rome, because this is the second leg of the Roman Empire, Rome was stretched out far, okay, far as the military. That's how they were able to be depleted. Ultimately, it was prophecy, okay? Isaiah 14:11, which is the same thing that's going to happen to Babylon the Great. Isaiah 14:11, it says, "They pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vials, the worm is spread under their." It says the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. Okay, so yeah, what does it say in the NLT? It says, "Your might and your power will be buried with you." So what was their might and their power? That petrodollar. Okay, going into their inheritance, dung and worms. The sound of the harp in their palace has ceased. Okay, going into their reign. Now maggots are your sheet and your worms are your blanket. Going into their economy being destroyed, their dollar bill being printed. They're just printing money, which creates what? Hyperinflation. They're printing money, devaluing the currency. Okay. Isaiah 14:12. "Art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of thy morning? How were thou cut down to the ground? What did weaken the nations?" Okay, now word Lucifer goes into light bearer. And Esau, Edom bears the light of the left-handed of the wicked. Far as, going into Illuminati, which just means light bearers. Okay, they bear what the left-handed light, far as the wickedness that the Lord has play out to be able to ultimately show his power when he takes them down. Okay, this is a couple of different scriptures. This is Job 18. And how is their light getting taken out? By this word, because they're being exposed for the things that they're doing, and now their petrodollar is no more. It's not worth anything. Job 18:5. "Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle. His candle shall not, it says his candle shall be put out with him." Okay, going into his rulership, his authority over the earth. Okay, it's being taken away, by Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because they have but a short time. It says the steps of their strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast them down. So his own people that were once, confederate with thee are now plotting mischief against them. Okay, it says, "For he is cast into a net by his own feet; he walketh upon a snare." Yeah, because his own pride, thinking that he can be able to take down these certain nations, when these nations are set up for prophecy, that they would ally together and take down Babylon the Great. Okay, and that light's being put out. So skipping down to Job 18:16, "His root shall be dried up beneath; above shall his branch be cut off." Okay, going into his rulership, he will have no more. He won't be able to, get money from a certain place or be able to find a solution. Okay, 17, "His remembrance shall perish from the earth; he shall have no name in the street." Going into, he shall have no son nor nephew. Okay, he's not going to be remembered as anything. Okay, because righteousness is going to be on the earth. 18, "He shall be driven from the light into the darkness and chased out of the world. He shall never have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings." It says that it says, they that come after him shall be astonished at the day, as they that went before him were affrighted. Okay, surely such as the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place him that knoweth not the Most High. Okay, this is the workings of the fool had said in his heart, there is no God. And the Lord is going to destroy him, and all the eyes shall see, far as these heathen nations are going to see the destruction of Babylon the Great. Okay, and they're going to be in awe, far as in the destruction that Yahweh Shemashai is playing out, and going into them having no son or nephew, going into Obadiah 1:18. After 1,000-year period of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he will be exterminated. After 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, he will be gathered up and exterminated, because there's no need for what? Wickedness. Okay, this is Job, Isaiah 13 and 11. Yeah, I'll read this. This is Isaiah 13 and 2. Lift up thy banner upon the high mountain, exalt thy voice unto them, and shake the hand, and that they may go to the gates of the nobles. Okay, the banner is what the Bible being lifted up, with brothers on the highways and the byways and the epistles, standing in what the gates of the cities. Okay, letting the people know that a great king is coming and great plagues are coming upon the earth. It says 3, I've commanded my sanctified ones, I've also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in the highness. Okay, so the Lord is called what? His mighty ones, going into what? The angels. Okay, going into to be able to be what? In this fight that we're in. Okay, ultimately going into the destruction of what? Babylon the Great. It says, Slakia, bear with me. All right, Slakia. So let me read this again. I want to read this in NLT. I, the Lord, have dedicated these soldiers for this task. Yes, I have called the mighty warriors to express my anger, and they will rejoice when I am exalted. Okay, going into those angels, firing off those hypersonic missiles. Okay, that are going to be fired off on Babylon the Great. Okay, they're not going to miss. Okay, because they're going to be guided to the point that they need to go to. Isaiah 13 and 4, the noise of the multitude of the mountains, like as a great power, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of the nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts, host means army, mustereth the host of battle. So the Lord guides these different nations to come up against each other. Okay, because Exodus 15 and 3, the Lord is a man of war. Okay, Yahweh is a man of war. Okay, it says 5, they come from a far country and from the end of the heaven, and even Yahweh and thy weapons of indignation shall destroy the whole land. So they come from a far country going into those hypersonic missiles. Okay, I believe one of those hypersonic missiles from Russia can be able to get over here to America in 29 minutes. Okay, then also you have what? North Korea. You also have what? China. Okay, they're going to be firing off missiles, over 200 million missiles. Okay, and what does it say? The judgment day of the Lord. Okay, and who is he coming to bring down? Babylon the Great, and those that come up against Yahweh Shemashai. 6, how ye that day of Yahweh is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty, going into the great downfall of Babylon the Great. Therefore shall all the hands be faint, every man's heart shall melt. So going into the paralyzing of the great destruction, far as you're gonna hear screaming, yelling, okay, melting, as far as the fire, things moving, things shaking. Okay, it says, what does it say? Every arm is paralyzed with fear, every heart melts. Okay, and the Lord even says, through much tribulation we shall enter into the kingdom. Okay, it's not going to be a easy thing, but the Lord is going to have a covering for his elect. 8, he shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman in travail. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be in flames. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. Okay, starting with Esau, Edom, and the 2/3 that don't want to hearken to this word, they're going to be destroyed. 10, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give the light. Okay, going into the blackness, as far as when the destruction, when places are burning down, you see a very dark cloud. Even if there's a fire in the city, okay, you'll see you can see the smoke, okay, going into these stars, as far as everything's going to be covered up. Let's read this in the NLT. It says, the heaven shall be black above them, The stars will give no light. The sun will be dark when it rises, and the moon will provide no light. It says 11, I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease. I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. And that's what the Lord's doing with this word. And the Lord's going to bring forth what his judgment through the host of the battle, okay, which he mustereth. Okay. This is Isaiah 47 and 1. Isaiah 47 and 1. Come down. What does it say? A lambent for Babylon. Okay. And this is what Babylon the Great. Because what does it say right here? It says, come down and sit in the dust. Yeah, the dust goes into the confusion that's going to be upon the earth, going into the covering of the stars, the sun, and the moon. Okay, the straight chaos. It says, oh, virgin daughter of Babylon. So daughter comes after you, showing you that this would be Babylon the Great, which Babylon means confusion, which is America today. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, going into your rulership. Okay, oh, daughter of the Chaldeans, going into their enchantments that they push. Okay, that they push on the people through their sorcery, through their television. Okay, it says, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Okay, take thy millstone and grind up thy mill, uncover the locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. So again, for a long time, that petrodollar was able to be pushed forth and to be something, but now those deep dark secrets, as far as you to killing off certain people, are being exposed. Your slavery that you've done to all the different nations, especially with Israel, is being exposed. Okay, and you're being revealed that son of perdition. Okay, and the only thing you can do is be cardinal. Okay, which you will be broken by Yahweh Shem Shai. Isaiah 47 and 3, the nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, the shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, I will not meet thee as a man. So the Lord is not going to meet you as a man, as that meek and lowly spirit. He's meeting you in his full force, his angelical force that the Lord Yahweh has given him all power, okay, to destroy. Skipping down to 9, it says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day. The loss of children, widowhood, they shall come upon thee, in the perfection of thy multitude of thy sorceries, and for thy great abundance of thy enchantments. For thou hast trusted in wickedness, and thou hast said, none seeth me. The wisdom and knowledge have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me, going into their pride. Okay, there shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and thou shalt be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand nigh with thy enchantments, and with thy multitude of sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Thou art weird in the multitude of thy counsels. Let not the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save them from these things that shall come upon thee. Okay, going back to ancient Egypt, where they tried you had the sorcerers that they were trying to figure out what was going on. Okay, and the only one that had knowledge was what Moses and Aaron. Okay, as far as the destruction, who was bringing forth the plagues, and Moses said what told Pharaoh to let the Hebrew Israelites go, and what did Pharaoh do? He hardened his heart, just like right now. Okay, there's no out. Okay, for Esau, Edom. There's no mercy for Esau, so-called white man. 14, behold, they shall be as stubble, and fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. Yeah, so they're not going to be able to, devise some type of plan out of this one. Okay, behold, thou shalt be as stubble, and fire burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before it. Thus said, they shall be unto them whom has labored, even the merchants from thy youth. Thou shalt wander every one to his quarter, none shall save thee. Going into your NATO nations, China, Russia, all these different nations that were once, in trades with you, they're not going to come after you. Okay? Why? Because they're going to see the downfall of Babylon the Great, that great destruction. So with that, call Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash Shalom to the elect Kwam Yashala.